Alright, hi everyone, Greg from Greg's Whiskey Guide, one of the rare whiskey channels from France, doing videos in English and doing videos basically as well. There are four, for those who wonder, there are probably a dozen or 6, 8, but many are specialized in talking about whiskey for newbies. So not all, but many, and on very short size of videos. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that. So back in business, if I may say. Sorry about the fan. That means that it's still some heat here in Paris, but we had some nice fresh mornings lately, and also I'm back from quick family holiday, so I will be able to do a few videos. We're in August, but we're getting close to September, which will be a huge I think it's probably the first year they did concentrate the 3 major shows about whiskey and other spirits in Paris. There are shows outside Paris as well, but in a single month in September. Normally it goes out also out to October, so it's gonna be very tiring. It's gonna monopolize me almost every weekend of September, which also means I will not be in position to record normal size, normal kind of videos of mine. I will do my best, even if it's not always allowed, to maybe give you sneak peek about the shows here. We're gonna get France Quintessence, which is only about French spirits. Let's say small show regarding the 2 other ones. Then we're gonna have Salon du Gars, Club Expert du Gars, in which it's a bigger show, in which the Springbank Kittenhead. See, starting to be very serious. And then the famous Whiskey Life Paris. I will attend for the 20th year. It will be their anniversary as well, but it will be my anniversary of visiting them for 20 times. Can you figure that? It's crazy. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit scarce and a bit maybe different. Also, I wanted to I received a sample before the summer break, and it was already a bit too hot, of this, which is KINGSBARNS Coaltown, from WEMYSS. So full transparency, they know me, I know them, they know I will say what I think, even if it's not in their favor, but I thank them for the sample. Remember, I had some already, and I did review some KINGSBARNS already, so I will put a link below. Same for this, which I will use as a calibrator today, the Dream to Dram, which is discontinued, that I reviewed along with what's the name now? Shame on me. The sherried version of the core range, and I forgot now. Balcony, okay. The honor is safe. But while I was going to do this review only, something came on the way. It's in the news, a sad story about it. I don't know really a lot of details, but I wanted to say a few things. MACKMYRA is in bankruptcy currently, as you probably know. So it's a shock for whiskey lovers and European and Swedish whiskey lovers in particular. I will explain my relationship to MACKMYRA. I met the people a long time ago from them. I know the master blender, who I think is no longer with them, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but I know she has projects. I don't want to be positive about that, because I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, so I have 3 whiskies from them currently. I had 4 there's one bottle I couldn't find. I tried, it's a bit of a mess over here. Part of my collection is a bit buried under a lot of stuff, So while I tried it last year, the Brooks, I couldn't find a bottle. I tried 3 times for the review, I couldn't find. So I'm not gonna present you a MACKMYRA only video for now, but what I thought was maybe interesting is to compare this smoky, I can say peated, but yeah, smoky Coaltown from KINGSBARNS, so Scotland, with some let's say older style of label and bottle of the Svensk Rök, which means a Swedish smoke, basically, or peat, because thing is there's this ambiguity about those two expressions, because there's a work about smoke that is not necessarily usual in the whiskey industry, and I will get to that later on. Right? So this is what I felt like doing. I hope it's a bit relevant. Tell me what you think about that. Now the KINGSBARNS distillery, I'm not going to go into the history of the distillery, but basically it's founded in 2014. It's in the 5 county in the Lowlands of Scotland. And I use that as a calibrator to compare it to the Coaltown, which is a new expression entering the core range. And I will tell you a bit more about that with this nice leaflet they sent me. And then we'll try compare it with the Svensk Rök. So there you have it. I hope you're well and ready for new reviews. Behind me there you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's one which doesn't have a tube, but I have the details here. So it's my collection of Swedish whiskies, which are basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bottles of I have 8 bottles Swedish whiskey and 2 samples. So if I count them all, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different distilleries. I will tell you how many there are later on. Right, too much introduction. Greg, you do not change. Right, but I hope you're still with me. So a bit of calibration with the Dream to Dram. Shall I put the bottle here, maybe, so you know what I'm tasting at the time I'm tasting it? Again, yeah. So just to calibrate a bit things. So also to tell you, well, it seems that Coaltown is only bourbon casks made of. This Dream to Dram from 2019, unpeated. It's not probably, it's for sure 90% first fill bourbon and 10% Richard STR casks. 3.5 years old, non-shade filtered, non-colored, 46% ABV. Already reviewed our beautiful nose again, with that oily, creamy, vanilla. There's some tiny red fruit notes. That's a lot of charm, lots of. It's a rich nose, barley sugar as well. Okay, so we're on the nose only. Let's see on the nose of the Coaltown. It's a different nose, almost completely different nose. It's really, nose is younger. So I don't know, maybe it's just 3 years old. Doesn't seem to be the same distillate on the nose. There's a wrap of smoke around it, but not only it's more green, there's some vegetal green notes. It's a different beast, definitely. And I was worried on the nose, a bit less on the palate, fortunately. Now the Swedish whiskey now, wow, way smoky, ashy, but we will get to that in a moment. So back to the KINGSBARNS on the palate. Mm. Oh, that's delicious. Lots of personality, lots of structure, some sweet spices, a bit of ginger, but very balanced. It's just to, let's say, to maintain the structure of the walls of the foundation, the character of the whiskey. So there's not firm, but decent and present oak and spice, but just enough to wrap and to give structure to those beautiful oily vanilla, custard, agrumes in French, citrus fruit, bit of grapefruit, mostly lemon curd, different shades of lemon, let's say. Lovely, lovely whiskey. I like the Ducat, but I prefer this one. Right. Now let's go to the Coaltown, and I will tell you a bit more about what it is. Yeah, for now I'll just show you this. So we got this leaflet that they kindly sent me, explaining that in fact, yeah, I will tell you what it is first, but yeah, it's so it's necessarily 3 years old minimum. Peated casks, but the malted, so they got peated cask. They didn't peat their malt. So this is the difference between, for instance, Islay whiskies. So they don't state it ex-Islay peated cask. So it is more likely to be continental, mainland, say, peat, probably from Inverness, Aberdeen, so the usual providers. Beards was the name, I think. So I'm not sure, but yeah, so more likely Highland peat. So Coaltown of WEMYSS is a mining village situated near WEMYSS Castle, the ancestral home of the WEMYSS family. WEMYSS family, who is both an indie bottler and the owner of KINGSBARNS distillery, for those who don't know. So the WEMYSS Castle, who have the WEMYSS family, who have deep roots in Fife and a long-standing connection to whiskey. Blah blah blah. In homage to the family's ties to Coaltown of WEMYSS, we name our new single malt Scotch after the village. So yeah, there was coal mining there, so that's hence the name Coaltown. Whiskey reflects the story and flavor profile, blah blah blah. I'm trying to give you the facts and not the marketing flannel, as Ralphie says. We use the laureate variety of barley, so that are facts, grown in the fields of Fife. So they say they use for the water an aquifer which is 100 meters beneath their distillery. What else? The casks are selected by the production director Isabella WEMYSS, so from the WEMYSS family. So there you have it. I'm trying to find something else. Yeah, I forgot. I think it's Peter Holroyd. You can see there, which is the distiller. I had the chance to meet at. So they give tasting notes. I didn't pay attention to the tasting note. I will maybe compare them once I try it. I think it's more relevant. But yeah, there we have it. Anyway, I will put timestamps so the people only interested in what do I say already? It is non-chill filter, non-colored, but the legs are absolutely not sticking to the leg. This is not very oily. This is very thin, texture-wise. Doesn't mean it's a bad whiskey, mind you. So it doesn't last. The color, forget to speak of the color. It's very pale. It's the palest of the muscadet, the palest muscadet wine. So what I can get here on the visual is that it's something that's not very oily, and that's something very young, and that's something also a lot of refill casks in there. I'm surprised they do not state it's a bourbon cask, but it's obvious when you taste it, it's bourbon cask, ex-bourbon cask. But I will say majority of third fill or second to third fill, which might not be, giving away already my opinion, might not be the most clever choice in my opinion. Just saying, but we'll see. So on the nose, and I have my notes somewhere. Excuse me, nose is a bit irritated already. Don't know why. So yeah, all they say is, I mean, it's ex-Peated cask, and yeah, third core range expression. Okay, let's see if it fits my notes. So there's something a bit off-putting, showing young new make character. While there's probably only a few months difference with the other, I'm very surprised they used this basis for their first smoky release. I cannot say really peated release, for me it's a smoky release. So there's a lot of youth. It's not completely off-putting, but for me there's something like not really verbena, but it's some botanical, slightly it's a bit of cardboard slash pencil shaving things, a bit of pine. I won't say cabbage, but yeah, there's something really too young, almost, yeah, 2 years old, not 3. I'm very surprised they choose these casks. I don't know. So the nose for me is a problem, and this part of the fact, I will see if I change my score. I tried it 2 times prior to the review, but the nose is already taking the score down. Yeah, I've been too generous even, I would say. We'll see. Okay, so on the palate, Slangeva, I forgot to say. Okay. Alright, it's better on the palate. Obviously in those kind of young casks, and you know I do not do double speak here, and it's not because they gave me the sample that I'm going to change anything. Often the peat or the peat smoke is there to hide youth, and it's a bit what I feel there. If this was an unpeated release, I will really be not interested in that, or not find it a great release. Is it a great release? You will learn that later on, but yeah, so if I chew it a bit more, I can see the DNA between the Dream to Dram and this, which is reassuring. There's less fruit. There's less charm. You don't have these beautiful custard note, lemon curd, call it how you want, but something creamy associated with lemon. You have only a tiny sense of that. You have a bit of herbal, which is something that's the fil rouge in French, the leitmotif often of Lowlands whiskies. But it's something also that I sense sometime in Highlander whiskies and in MACKMYRA. That is also why I chose MACKMYRA. So this is not bad. This is, I think, more balance on the palate than on the nose. This is better that way, let me tell you. But there's something's missing compared to both the Dream to Dram and the Ducat, which is a bit disappointing. Now that said, it's not bad. I'm gonna add a few drops, and I will add a few drops to the Swedish one too, to let it be fair, to make things more fair. If it's, my English is so bad at times. I'm afraid to put a lot of water because of this cardboard, it's light cardboardy nose. Yeah, it's not a big progress, to be honest. This shows its weakness, I'd say. It's very hard to score. Very hard to score. I will add a bit to retry it later on, back from the Swedish whiskey. Right. Okay. You need a score. Shall I pause it a second? Right, so I've made my my ratings, and I mean, I thank very much the WEMYSS family, Charles, Manuel, etc. for the sample. I was curious about it, so I'm quite happy to have tried it. Forgot to say the RRP, the price, official price would be £46. I don't know, I haven't seen yet in France, but I guess it will be a bit like the Dream to Dram, around €55 or 56, something like that. The rating, it's a bit annoying because, like I said, it loses points with the nose. The reaction to air and water, it's not positive, it's not overly negative, but it's not interesting. The complexity, there is not a lot of complexity, not enough complexity regarding the previous expressions. It's not very, so you see my criteria, it's on my website, by the way, the criteria. Don't want to lose time with that, but the balance is okay, not on the nose but on the palate. It's not much more. I think seriously it's not bad, but it should be, blender's opinion, not very experimented. I know I'm not Isabella Williams, I'm not the big names, but for me the recipe has to be improved with older casks and more first fill, not all, but some first fill and second fill max casks, to give it more personality and handle as well the peat. But at the end of the day, the best thing would probably be to have peated malt. But yeah, it's for me it's an experiment. I'm surprised it's in the core range, to be honest. For me it's not ready to be on the core range. I gave it a 79.5, as generous as I could be. So it's not in the 81 plus category of whiskies that are nice and worth chasing. It's a little under. It's not bad. I will be happy if I had a bottle. Happy, I mean, it will be okay, but it's not something I will tend to buy. I mean, it's just my opinion. I was expecting more from them regarding the high quality of the first releases, and also the beautiful Bear Rock cask strength I tried. We're gonna go now for the comparison with, as relevant as it is, with the older version of the Svensk Rök. So this was a 50 CL at the time. I have the very first release, which is from 2014, and it entered at that time in the core range. Let me see if I can find you. Yeah, this is how it looks right now. Yeah, not much reflection. And this is 70 CL. La Maison du Whisky sells it for a hefty, reflections, 73.90 euros. As usual, you probably will find it somewhere else cheaper. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the comparison, and then I will give you a brief take on why they're going bankruptcy, and a brief story about Swedish whiskey. Very, very brief. So this is made with 70% only peated malt, 30% unpeated. This was so most likely, if I understood it well, bourbon cask, and I don't know, several thousand bottles, but only 720 at that time for France, right? 46.1 doesn't say nowhere non-chill filter, non-colored, but we will assume, as I understand it, it is not, but I cannot be 100% sure. Also, this has the particularity, and this is what you see on the bottle, they added to the peated malt, and yeah, you can see the gravity, because there are two distilleries now. The one you see on the drawing is the gravity one, so everything descends from the top to go down and save energy, etc. The first distillery, you have it, but it's a bit remote now. You know, one of the packaging that's somewhere up there, but it's behind. Bergslagens, I will show you that later on. MACKMYRA Special 06, and then other distilleries, High Coast. All these are High Coast there. Adelphi, and then official ones from High Coast. Right, but we're in MACKMYRA now. Sorry, with the famous logo. Doesn't say much, but what you see, the herbal stuff here and on the label, what I was about to say is that they added juniper branches to the peat to malt, to do the malting. And I have to tell you, for those who don't know, this is not a novelty even in Scotch whisky industry, because Orkney peat, as you might not know, doesn't benefit from trees, not much trees on Orkney, hence the wind, very strong winds. So but they have a lot of heather, botanicals, heather trees. So, if I may say, they used to add, and I was told that from Jerry Tosh, one of the most important brand ambassador they had, so it's a fact, they add branches of heather flowers and branches of heather to the peat. So that might explain the difference between Isla peat and Orkney peat. Just a parenthesis you might be interested in. So we have now a Swedish example of adding something else to the peat. We'll see how it impacts it, or it doesn't impact it. Before I forgot, for the Dream to Dram, I think the score was rather around 88, 87, 88 or more. So you see big difference with the 79.5 from the Coaltown. But it's not a bad whiskey, it's just average, and it could be way better. On the nose, this is very this ashy smoke, and I can feel a bit of the juniper / pine note on the nose already. It's not shocking. Have you had this blind? I'm not sure we'll get that point of adding something to the peat. So nice nose balanced, limited again with this focus on smoke rather than peat. At least it's the impression on the nose. There's a little pine thing, not a lot of fruit, not a lot of vanilla on the nose. Let's go on the palate. And I should have said scale. A big wink to my friend Frederick Hansen. Hope he's well. And no more channel activity, but I hope the Dram Divided will come back someday. So beautiful wrapping on the palate, coating the palate, ashy smoke. On the first seconds, almost unpleasant cigarette smoke, and you know how I hate cigarette. And then quickly some bit medicinal smoke, and you cannot not think of Lefroy very quickly. Yeah, nice oily, almost a bit honey, pine, barley sugar, bit of ginger, slight touch of marshmallow and licorice, what you say in English confectionery. Always a thing that shocks me, because confection here means clothes making in French, confection. So it's I cannot get this in English, but yeah, it's a way more complex than the Coaltown, but they have in common the focus on a bit of ashy smoke rather than grassy peat, if this makes sense for you. Well, the finish is beautiful. This kind of buttery hay finish that slightly makes you think of, I do not dare to say Brora, but something with more personality, maybe bit of port charlotte feel in that, but less characteristic maybe. Like if you mix the port charlotte 10 with a Lefroy quarter cask, maybe he will give you a bit of a result like that. Not bad, with less complexity there. And it's nice, almost coffee note, which I really like in peated whiskies. Yeah, very rich whiskey. And then I rate, I confirmed the rating today, 87 out of 100. So I don't know, I haven't tried. I will tell you what I think of MACKMYRA now, maybe. I haven't tried MACKMYRA in recent years, maybe 5 years, because they do not no more attend French shows and even French master classes and presentations. It's very hard to try them unless you go in the bar or buy a sample, but not all the expressions are available. And also, I have to say, there are other Swedish distilleries that did pique my interest way more these recent years. Maybe this is part of the problem. But yeah, so yeah, then let's go. I don't know why MACKMYRA is in bankruptcy from economical, technical, juridical standpoint. I'm sorry, I don't have other news. I didn't contact recently, it's a bit of improvised video. I didn't contact Angela D'Orazio, which I met several times in Paris in shows and also private demonstrations. So I don't know. What I suspect is the complexity of the Swedish situation regarding alcohol sales, which means you have to go in Systembolaget which is the name, official shops, counters where you can buy alcohol. Otherwise it's forbidden to buy alcohol elsewhere, maybe online, but in physical shops you have to go through the counter, the official counter. Maybe the prices there are not well, maybe the offer is not the best, or just maybe other distilleries' products attracts more the Swedish clientele, the Swedish customers. I don't know. What I will say from a French perspective is that the prices of MACKMYRA through the French distributor Lowlands Whisky have gone up since, let's say, 10 years. I've been tasting MACKMYRA since I just found yesterday. I did found since 2006. Yeah, 2007. It's sold in France since late 2006, and the Brooks only since 2012. Curiously, sorry. So while I tried 35 different expressions, I tracked down a bit my notes. Unfortunately, not many recently because they were not available easily, and we didn't want to jump on 80 euros or way more priced whiskies. It's a choice. So what I will say is that I did find other distilleries more interesting from Sweden, especially one I will talk to you about. Now, going very quickly to my notes here, I really adore the first edition, which appeared in, I think I tried 5 years old, mixing Swedish oak and American oak, which I rated 90. There were some experiments also in 2010 with sherry, which were really for me concluding. 30 liters cask from the Gravity series cask. First fill of sherry was disjointed. 75 out of 100 was scored. But another one with more American oak and Swedish oak heads was rated around 89. Also, what else? 90 was the score of Fat 58, which is single cask. Fat means cask in Swedish. That's for this one. So many things that are open there. Let me check. I got other MACKMYRA notes here. Yeah, there was some. I had the chance to try some straight from the cask stuff. The best score for MACKMYRA was the Preludium 606, 4 years old, 2007. First fill bourbon cask, 50.5 ABV, 92.5 out of 100. I should have bought it, but yeah, I didn't for some reason, etc., etc. I'm not gonna tell everything there. I don't want to go on too much time on this. So yeah, there are beautiful MACKMYRAs. I actually have one which is my favorite MACKMYRA from my collection, rated I think 89, something like that. It's a beautiful special 06 bottled at 46.8. This one is Summer Meadow Summer 2011, a mix of bourbon and sherry cask. If you can find that at auction, I really recommend it. There's way more character in there, kind of herbal, citrusy, vanilla things working very well, almost a Scottish Highlander, but with that slightly special dry, not everybody loves that dry oak profile, a bit spicy as well. Other than that, we'll stop with the MACKMYRA for a second. To finish even, and I'm gonna just tell you about other distilleries. Why less interest for MACKMYRA? Because more interest for distillery that was found in 2010. conceived in 2005 but founded in 2010, which was first called Box and then High Coast. This, for me, okay, it's a bit more on the Scottish style than on the Swedish style. Maybe this is debatable what I say there, but for around 50-60 euros, and I had it even less for the launch, non-chill filter, non-colored, 48% peated expression, absolutely beautiful. This I'm not sure of the rating. I did review it already on video, but it's close to 90 for me. What do I have else? I have one that's a bit less interesting, relying on new oak, a bit on new oak, first fill bourbon and virgin oak. That's why I like it less, but it's still decent. Have two of the expressions we can find in France. Unfortunately, we cannot find the Berg, which had a lot of success in Sweden, but we can find a Dalva, sorry for the pronunciation, which is a sherried, so gently sherried, sherry influence, it said. Expression also at 48, light sherry. I also have a pit bomb I bought from the whiskey shop where there was a masterclass. It's the Adelphi High Coast 8 years old cask strength bourbon. 62.3 ABV, you need a bit of water, but also recently discovered where it is. Agitator, I haven't reviewed it yet. This is the blended whiskey, the old bottle, it's now called the Swedish blend. This is also made of wheat, which from another distillery, which is, sorry, I'm gonna butcher it, Lantmännen Reppe. Sorry about the pronunciation again. I will get to this later on when I will review it. And Agitator was found in 2017. They also do, of course, single malts. Very modern distillery. Also, I have to speak about something absolutely stunning, which is Bergslagens, which is the brand which, under this brand, they bottle since 2019 the stock they bought from the old Grittytown closed distillery which no one will be mistaken there, but operated just for a few years and was founded 2010. I don't remember, it was closed in 13 or 16. I think it just operated for 3 or 6 years. Have the infos elsewhere, but a bit in a hurry now to finish the video. And also looking forward to try, thanks to Chris Goodrum, Too Much Procrastination, this Smogen, which is a very tiny distillery. I have a rum cask and what is this? Bordeaux Barrique 2018. And this is a tiny distillery founded in 2010, first released 2014. There are, if I'm understood well, correct me if I'm wrong, 13 plus distilleries making whiskey in Sweden, but we only get here, and the Bergslagen was sent to me by Frederick from Sweden. We cannot find it here. We only have access here to MACKMYRA High Coast, sometimes through special store pick for Amazon Whiskey of Smogen, and Agitator, which makes 1, 2, 3, 4 brands, that's all. But there you have it. I hope you did find it interesting. If you want to know more about Swedish distilleries, go to see, but it's still very tiny infos, but Malt Whiskey Yearbook, the new one is probably coming on in a month or two. If you go on my website, there's a lot of info about MACKMYRA, not only in the, I think in the left entry, but within different reports, Whiskey Live shows, etc. This is hard to get centralized, but yeah. Now, on recent releases, you should rather rely on my fellow YouTubers, because, for instance, I hadn't had the chance to try the Gronte, which a lot of you liked, and since then a lot of releases what I was about to say, one of the reasons maybe it doesn't work for MACKMYRA, it's the fact, okay, they have a core range, which for me it's too small. So they have the Mac, which is basically a big audience blend, which is 40%. Then they have the Brooks, which is for me one of the best values of the distillery. And they have then probably one or two more. But it's not a full interesting core range, wide core range. When you see, for instance, File Bay or, I don't know, Cotswolds, I mean, they cannot compete with that. In regards, High Coast is more interesting. There's just a problem of availability here. Agitator starts to do a lot of great things, but again, availability is not always there. Smogan isn't available, but it's too small to get too much international. I get that. You can also find, I tried a Berry Bros agitator, very nice version, but it's expensive. Yeah, so also the season, which is a fully transparent sealed screen, the seasoned series from MACKMYRA were interesting, but they did a lot of experiment I was not much fan of with local wine cask, cloudberry wine cask, etc. A lot of wine cask, not very tamed. So maybe this did put off some people. Plus, the Moment series with the black ribbon, I think for me is a marketing mistake with prices as for no-ish statement, with prices around 155 here for each bottle. And to be honest, so far I don't think I've tried an interesting value-wise expression from this range. So that might explain people getting bit put off by the brand, or just sticking to one or two expressions that are good, but not enough to to handle a business, right? So this was my opinion about the MACKMYRA crisis, just a superficial but experimented on what I tried. Vision, I don't have a lot of details. If I know more, I will tell you more. Hope it was interesting. See you soon. Don't forget, if you liked the video, of course, a like, subscribe, notification bell, you know, all that jazz. If you want to support financially, you have a link, buy me a coffee, etc. See you soon for something else. I don't know what yet. I will adapt myself to the show season starting. Maybe do shorter videos, I don't know. Well, it's almost 1 hour, but c'est la vie. Bye bye.